Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. I'm back in my spot. Um, Good morning. It is Monday. It feels like a Monday. Good morning, Quizzical Girl. Good morning, Kiki. Good morning, Numbers. Good morning, Team Wicked Smart. I am not feeling my best. I was down all weekend. I had my 22-month-old nieces over, and every time children come over here, their nose is snotty. They bring their germs, and I took them on. Took them all. So I'm still not at 100%, but I didn't want to miss another day because we have so much to talk about. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it people. We definitely gonna keep it brief. Thank you for stopping in other people's drama. Um, yes, I am just not I am coming back. I'm definitely feeling better than I did yesterday and the day before that. But my throat is still hurting a little, and I'm still a little congested. I don't know if you can hear it. Um, but we're gonna keep it pushing. I hope everybody has a wonderful Monday. Ooh, that was we are recapping day 4 and day 5 of the brain wash trial. Let me tell you. Now, you know, before I say something ridiculous, I have to give a caveat. It's not ridiculous. What I'm about to say is not ridiculous. But my takeaway from day 4 and 5 is, first of all, can you guys hear me? I think you can. Does it sound good? I don't know which mic I'm connected to. I don't want to be connected to my camera mic. I want to be connected to my handheld mic. So tell me how I sound. Um, I mean, besides congested. My takeaway from day 4 and 5. Well. First of all, I think, and maybe this is a problem of the prosecution. They're doing a good job of highlighting the victim in this case because I think somewhere in the day 4 being in day 5, I went, do we know what Anna looks Anna? I don't think she says her name Anna. Do we know what she looks like? No, not really. I mean, you can't, put in too many pictures because it becomes more prejudicial than probative. But do the jurors know? Did the jurors have a good idea of who she is? What she looks like? Can they even picture her in their mind when they're talking about her? Because I couldn't. Come on, now. Couldn't. So I went to her Instagram because it's still up. I went to her Instagram. Rhonda was beautiful. She was a cute little petite, beautiful woman. Is it cutting out? It's probably because I'm talking too loud. Um, Let me bring my mic down a little bit. Um, yeah, when I'm moving, it breaks up. Let me be still. So she's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. And then I look at Brian Walsh. So what's the money? At one point, Did he look better? Is this like, did he just gain weight in prison? Do we have no signs? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me see. How's that? Is that better? I think maybe that other mic was power was dying. Um, was was Brian rich at one point? Was he like really, really wealthy? Did he look different? Has jail aged him? Because I'm like, girl, you could have done so much better. Like I'm not getting the lore. I need the lore behind how Anna ended up with Brian. She's beautiful. Way out of his league, look wise. So he must have been loaded with money. Wealthy, there we go. And I'm not saying Anna is no gold digger, but you gotta have something else to the table, bring it to the table when you look like Brian Walsh. That's all I'm saying. But beyond that, what stood out to me is okay, so I found out when because we finally got to hear from Fast Style, and y'all know I said I wanted to hear from him. We got to hear from him, and he tells us that him and Anna started cheating almost immediately after he sold her home. And now look, please understand that this is not a victim blame situation because Brian Walsh is a murderer. But I'm a girl, I'm a girl. There is quite literally no reason you are not with your babies, your very young babies, on Christmas Eve. Now, here's the thing we don't ever do on this channel. Okay. Just because someone dies, we don't act like they were never wrong. We don't exalt them in death and act like they were, they could do no wrong. That was wrong of her. I mean, we got to be honest on this channel. We got to put it on the floor. Your youngest baby is 2, and you laid up with your side boo on Christmas Eve to the point that you miss or forget your flight on Christmas, and you don't get to your baby till 8 p.m. That's messed up. I mean, it's just messed up. That's something a man would do. So you mother like a man. That is so man-coded. Meanwhile, Fast Style kick you out when his kid's about to come. He didn't miss a moment with his children, and you missed all day. And I think the defense did a good job. I mean, first of all, they're doing a good job is relative. They're doing the best they can do with the facts they have. I think Brian Walsh is going to jail for the rest of his life on a first-degree murder charge. I don't think they have proven premeditation, but I don't think the jury's going to care. When they heard about those hatchet and hacksaw, if I was on the jury, I wouldn't give a good goddamn. Okay, I wouldn't give a good goddamn. You're going to jail. But they're doing the best with what they have and making Anna look like, girl, not only did you not come home on Christmas Eve, you were unreachable for a good part of Christmas Day. And little baby. mean he deserves to kill you. He's a crazy person. But that's bold, though. Like, that's crazy. If that was my husband, you might as well say where you at. Like, if my husband is not home on Christmas Eve and then unreachable for most of Christmas Day and then don't get home on Christmas Day till 8, you might as well stay where you at, boo boo. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Stay there. Okay? Stay where you at. Don't worry about coming home. Okay? We don't need you. We don't open up our gifts. We done ate our cookies. We going to bed. Stay where you at. Your stuff will be folded on the lawn in the morning. Matter of fact, not even folded. It'll just be on the lawn. It'll just be on the lawn. That is insane. We also find out from Fat Style that while she's actively engaged in an affair, is taking yoga classes with him, posting about it, and tagging him on Instagram, and he is commenting on her Instagram post. Now, what the defense and prosecution is going back and forth with right now, and the point of a lot of those witnesses before we got to the crime scene, they are pushing and pulling on whether or not Brian knew about the affair. I am of the belief he did, because he called them once before, right? When he said the kid accidentally did it. No, he didn't, Brian. You were hoping that man would answer and you would hear Anna in the background. But also, even if he didn't know, you proved it to him, Anna, when he called Fast Style on accident, and you called him back asking why he called Fast Style. Why would he, if there was absolutely nothing going on besides selling a house, why wouldn't he just call Brian back and say, what's up, dude? What you need? Why would I call him back about his car to Fast Style? Like, so I'm of the belief he knew about the affair, but that's what the push pull is, right? The defense would want you to believe, yes, Team Wicked Smile, it does prove motive, which is why the defense wants you to believe that he did not know. The defense wants you to believe he did not know. The prosecution wants you to believe he absolutely knew. I am of the belief he absolutely knew, because why are you Googling him on Christmas when you haven't heard from Anna? Why are you calling him on the 4th when you're pretending she's missing? Why the hell would he know? He's just the realtor. Why would he know where Anna is? I think he absolutely knew about the affair, but I think he had to keep it close to his chest when he wants to report her missing, because of course, if he tells the police she's having an affair, they're gonna look at him even faster than they did. But I'm of the belief he absolutely knew. The defense wasted so much time with Connor Keith trying to go back and forth with iMessage and Facebook Messenger, which I guess is a good point when you drill down to it, because he's in the interview saying Messenger. He's saying iMessenger. The defense wants you to believe that when he says I can see her iMessenger, he's talking about Facebook messages, because Facebook is called Messenger and not her iPhone messages. Because if I can only see her Facebook Messenger, Fast Style says we never communicated through Facebook like that. Yeah, who cares? I mean, I guess it's a good point for the defense to make, because again, they're trying to prove that he didn't know about the affair. But you know what? So after we get past Connor Keith, you know what creeps me out the most about Brian Walsh? There's a little actor. So we know, based on context clues, that he had to kill her between 1:30ish and maybe 3:45ish a.m. January 1st, New Year's Day. Somewhere in there is when whatever happened happened. Because that's when he gets to that. The last person left their house between 1 and 1:30. He starts feverishly searching, maybe 3:45, 4 a.m. So he killed her somewhere in between that. The very next morning, after he gets up and makes the kids fucking French toast, weirdo, he also texts her something like, "I still love you." Ha ha ha. He's a psychopath. You don't know. Collective doesn't know. You she's either she's already dead. We don't know when he chopped her. You know that she's at least dead, and you text her phone, "I still love you." Ha ha ha. This is why I feel like if I was on the jury, I wouldn't give a damn what they proved. Wouldn't give a damn if they proved premeditation or not. You, sir, are going underneath this prison. You, sir, are going underneath this prison. Another question I had was, because even Fast Out, and he absolutely did, Kim. You can't make me believe he didn't. He absolutely did. Um, and I think he knew so much about. See, here's my theory. Here's my theory, because I don't think I've ever given it on what I think happened. I think they had New Year's at their home with their friends. I think their friends leave. I think Brian saw that Happy New Year message to Fast Style. I think he saw that message. And I think they argued about it. And I think he either strangled her or stabbed her, or something that he couldn't call 911 and say she passed out, she fell out, we don't know what happened. He did something to her where it would absolutely show it was him. And he had to chop her up. Because here's the thing. I think Anna was playing the cards that she had. I don't think she knew that he knew about the affair. So we're going to talk about the vast difference in the Karen Reed case. I'm going to tell you, Team Wicked Smart. Thank you for bringing that up. I think Anna was playing the cards that she was dealt. She was keeping it cool, keeping it copacetic. Now, not coming home for Christmas is where she fucked up. I think they were already comfortable with her going back and forth to DC because that's her job. And she had to leave the kids there, we find out from Fast Style, that she left the kids with Brian because it looks good on his sentencing to say that he's the primary caregiver. We find that from Fast Style. She told him, "I leave the kids with him. So if he's the primary caregiver, they let him stay out until sentencing, whatever." I think Anna was playing her cards until that man went to jail. And she was waiting on that man to go to jail, and she was going to divorce him in jail. It's very easy to get a divorce when your spouse goes to jail. And I think she didn't want to ruffle any feathers. I think she didn't want to, stir the pot. Let's just everybody keep it cool until this man go to prison. And that not coming home for Christmas sent him over the edge because Your wife has not made it home for Christmas. She's not texting you. Do you A, call 7-Eleven times the way Karen did to John because she did not know where he was or he wasn't answering the phone? Do you call 50-11 times? Or do you search Anna Walsh found dead? Excuse me? You think they're gonna put Anna Walsh found dead before they alert her husband? That was the weirdest search. This man, first of all, Google is his best friend. We had stock in Google the way he Googles everything. But you think you're gonna find a story Anna Walsh found dead before you've been notified that she's dead. You think you're gonna Google plane crash before someone alerts you that there's been a plane crash. Those searches were so weird on Christmas because you haven't heard from her. You don't call her a bunch of times, 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 because that's what you do. You search Anna Walsh found dead. Huh? I think she was keeping it cool. I think she was keeping it pretty copacetic until Christmas. I think go back and forth on whether or not she missed the flight or the flight was canceled. I feel like they haven't nailed that down. Hopefully they'll bring that home in closing. But that's where she messed up. That is where I think he got really pissed off to the point of murderous. That is true numbers. That is very true. People do post on social media before the damn mama know, and it's so terrible. But I think Christmas is where she slipped up and Brian became murderous. And that search is telling. Found dead is crazy. Why are you already wishing your wife dead? Found dead is crazy. Because you haven't spoken to her? That's not where you go. That's not your first thought. I think that's where she slipped. And that not answering the phone too, that part. Because she didn't answer the phone till matter of fact, let me see. Let me see, because I got notes. I got notes. So let's see. Um on Christmas Day, Brian starts texting Anna at around 12 o'clock, 11:50. He checks her flight information. He says hello. He says, I haven't heard from you at all. Then that's when he Googles fast style, which lets me know I know exactly where you at. I know exactly where you at. And he was debating on, do I call this man? Do I call this man looking for my wife? Or do that make me a sucker? Do I call this man looking for my wife? Or does that make me a sucker? Huh. Then he Googles Christmas Day plane crash, Anna Walsh found dead. She finally texts him maybe a little after 1. My flight got canceled. Now that's where I'm confused on whether or not her flight actually got canceled. Thank you, Nurse Adventures. Or did she miss it? Because he had already checked the flight information. So I feel like the prosecution didn't do a good job of nailing that down. Because that would be more inference for them to make that he knew about the affair. Because if he's already checked the flight information, he knows the flight isn't canceled. And then she texts him, my flight was canceled. That means he knows she's a liar. On top of the fact that he's Googling fast style, why are you Googling the realtor? That man knew she was cheating. That man knew she was cheating. Then we get to the New Year's Eve. Brian says the last guest leaves at maybe 1:30. We both go upstairs to continue celebrating, in quotes. I go back downstairs to clean the kitchen, and I come back upstairs, and she's not responsive. Nobody believes that. But okay, Brian. He starts Googling at 4:52 a.m. Best ways to dispose of a body. How long before a body starts to smell? How to stop a body from decomposing? How to embalm a body? 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. This is happening at 5:47 a.m. He tells the cop in the first interview that Anna took Uber or Lyft at 6 a.m. to the airport because of a work emergency. Meanwhile, what's actually happening at 6 and 6:30 is Brian is texting, how long for someone to be missing before you inherit? What is disposal of dead body parts? Can you throw away body parts? Cool ways to be buried, above ground burial options. And after he's wondering how to bury a body, how to get rid of a body, he gets up and calmly makes them kids French fucking toast. Not a sweat off his goddamn brow. And for 3 days, he is obviously cutting and cleaning, cutting and cleaning, cutting and cleaning. For 3 days, because immediately he takes the kids to daycare. We know that, maybe around 9. And then he comes back home and starts to Google cleaning up a dead body, how to clean wood, how to clean blood from a wood floor, luminol to detect blood. Then he starts to, later that day, he starts to go to all the hardware store, which makes you a psychopath. Because you have killed your wife, strangled her, stabbed her, beat her, who knows, but you've done something to her. And within 12 hours, you have decided, I am going to chop her up. I'm going to cook these kids some French toast. I'm going to take them to daycare. I'm going to chop her up and I'm going to throw her away. In less than 12 hours, you've decided that. No remorse. This is my wife. No, none. Should I put her in the car and make it like a car accident so we could at least, my kids can at least have her body say goodbye? No. I want you to chop her up, throw her away, never to be seen again. And he's decided this in 12 hours. And then he has 3 days to clean up. And on the fourth day, and this is another reason why I feel like he knew about the affair. Because remember, Fast Style tells us we were supposed to celebrate on the 4th. When does Brian finally decide I got to start reporting her missing? I got to start acting like I don't know where she is? On the 4th. Because if she doesn't make it to her paramour, her lover, that's going to look weird. Because obviously, she gonna make it to him no matter what. Cause she said, be damn her kids on Christmas to be with the man she actually loved. So he's gonna know something is up. If she hasn't called him, she hasn't texted him, and she don't show up for their New Year's Eve day, this is how I feel like Brian absolutely knew about the affair. And he was the one he was worried about. Who's going to know she's missing? Who's going to know she's missing? Because while it seems like they have a good tight-knit work group, Anna does, if she texts somebody from her phone, I'm not coming in today, not feeling well, I think he has a good week before somebody at work starts to get suspicious. But he don't got that long for Fast Style to start to get suspicious. And they're supposed to be celebrating New Year's on the 4th. So now is the time I gotta start deciding what I'm gonna do. Meanwhile, he's steady texting her phone. He's steady texting her phone. Where are you? If you don't text back soon, I'm gonna file a missing persons. All the while, you know that you have murdered her, cut her into small pieces, and put her in the trash. Now, all of that to say, and I know, y'all are going to get tired of me comparing this case to Karen Reed, but it's very hard for me not to. It's very hard for me not to, considering that we have some of the same people involved. And I wonder, I doubt it. But I do wonder if anybody from Peg O'Keefe's immediate circle is watching this trial and noticing the glaring difference in the investigation. Because it has always been my belief that if Peggy really wants to be mad at somebody, it should be Canton Police Department and Massachusetts State Police. Because why don't you know what happened to your son? Just to hear them say, we took a picture of the dumpster before we moved it. We took a picture of it up on the whatever we move it with. We had someone follow it to where it was going. And then we took another picture of it when it got there. Y'all got cameras out there? So y'all do got cameras out there. Because why was there never a picture of Karen's car in the driveway with the light missing? Why was there never a picture of Karen's car as it made it to the salad port? You mean to tell me y'all take pictures of everything, y'all interview people, and y'all record the interviews every time y'all speak to somebody? I know that we eventually are going to have to stop making comparisons, but I feel like all of this is food for thought for Karen in her civil trial, and it should be food for thought for Peggy. Why are you not suing the Massachusetts State Police? They either they are actual bumbling idiots down there in Canton, or they actively botched that investigation, and you should be wondering why. You should be wondering why. They recorded the interview and took pictures of the house when Anna was still just a missing person. She could have popped at any time, and all of that would have been for naught. They did all of that, and she was just a missing person at that point. They walked through that house and took pictures, and she was just missing. They stopped at the foyer of the Albert home and didn't record one single interview with those people. Didn't take a picture of nobody. Didn't even barely took a picture of where John O'Keefe was laying. I mean, we have moved on. We are not in the Hear and Read case anymore. But the striking differences for me, they are like slapping me in the face because I have tried not to be a conspiracy theorist about the Hear and Read case. I mean, I always felt like something happened in that house, and then the cops were just weaponized idiots who just didn't look at stuff. But the more I see of this investigation, it feels like it's intentional ignorance. It doesn't feel like it's just like, oh, we just don't know what to do. It feels like intentional idiocy because these are some of the same people. These are some of the same people. And this case happened before Hear and Read. So it's not like y'all didn't know how to do this. These are some of the same people. It feels very intentional. And if I was Peg, I would want to know, why did you intentionally botch the investigation on what happened to my son? Okay, we're going to leave Hear and Read alone. But it's just striking to me. Very striking to me. I'm starting to get a little congested, so I'm going to get out of here. But I want to say that we still don't have evidence of premeditation from this prosecution. Now, again, like I said in the beginning, I don't think as a juror I would give a shit. That's just me. I wouldn't give one shit. That man will go to jail for the rest of his life. But jurors really do try to take their job seriously. And if they're going to read their jury instructions on what they need to convict a first-degree premeditated murder, I'm not seeing it yet from the prosecution. And I don't know. They're going to have to pull it out of him. Men pretending to be dumber than they are is a epidemic. And if you have watched All Her Fault, it is the perfect example of that. I'm not going to give any spoilers because I don't know who's seen it, but men pretending to be dumb is an epidemic. And All Her Fault on Peacock is just chef's kiss in illustrating that fact. How far ahead? Seconds. An instant. An instant. Literally an instant. Um, and the premeditation doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, I'm gonna kill him. The premeditation has to be, oh, I'm gonna do something to him. And death is an option. It's literally just an instant. Which is why they need, because I think it was premeditation. And do I think he intentionally meant to murder her? Maybe not. But he intended to do something, strangle her, stab her, push her down. He intended that part. And death was an option. But jurors take their jobs very seriously. In other words, there's no time limit. It doesn't have to be like, oh, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, seconds. It's circumstances based, but it could literally be an instant. You have an instant to change your mind. Or you have an instant to do something after you've done it. Meaning, you strangled her. Your next option was not chop her up. You say, oh my God, I snapped out. She made me so mad, I snapped out. Let me call the police and tell them what I've done. We do. We want them to take it serious. They take their jobs very seriously. So, with that being said, has the prosecution given them enough yet? And this trial is supposed to last, what, 2 more weeks? Have the prosecution given them enough yet to check that box when they go back there with their jury instructions to say premeditation? Not yet, in my opinion. But I don't think you can until you listen to Brian. And I know if these are good prosecutors, they are chomping at the bit to get that man on the stand. Oh my God. Could you imagine Alan Jackson cross-examining Brian Walshe? Ah, one can dream. Even Georgia from the Adelson case. Could you imagine him cross-examining? And you know what? You know what? Hot take, hot take, hot take. I wish I could flash my screen. Hot take. I would be up for, as much as I hate his goddamn guts, I would be up for a Brennan cross of Brian Walshe. They're going to have to get premeditation from him. And he's not going to say it. They're going to have to imply it in their questions. And their questions are going to have to imply it by saying, you mean to tell me you went upstairs, she wasn't responding, and yo Google happy ass didn't Google CPR, didn't Google mouth to mouth, didn't Google why would somebody be unresponsive, didn't Google the number to 911. It was automatically, let me chop her up, put in the trash. Instantly. That was your instant thought. Are you slow? Do you have a mental deficiency? Because that's the only time that would be your next thought. And I don't even want to disparage slow people like that, because I think they got more sense than that. Any hootie, I'm gonna get over here because my throat is starting to hurt. We are on day 6 today. I think we're still with the crime scene tech. Before I go, what I want to see, I want to see them talk about Anna. Maybe this week is the week where they call people to talk about Anna, because I found it very striking that I hadn't seen her. I didn't know what she looked like. I don't feel her in this case, which I guess, you don't, again, you can't do too much because you don't want it more prejudicial than probative. But I feel like I haven't seen or felt Anna in this case at all. Like, at all. Which is a striking difference from the Adelson case. I felt like I knew who Dan Markell was. I feel like I knew what his emotions were. I feel like I at least knew that he loved his boys. I'm not seeing that from the prosecution about Anna, and I feel like that's a misstep. I think they need to get more of premeditation, which is, like I said, for all the defense shortcomings, for all of their shortcomings, and they are up a creek without a paddle. They are doing a good job of making it seem like there were no issues. There were no issues that would cause him to snap and kill her. They're doing a good job of that. When they ask people, I never told her she was mad. I never told her she was sad. I never told her she was leaving. She said they all were moving to DC, right? Like, that's good defense work. To pull away from that premeditation, why would he just up and kill her? They've been good. And he doesn't even know about this affair. That's what the defense is saying. I think we need more Anna in this case. I think we need more evidence of premeditation. And I think the Emmy is coming. And even though we don't have a body, I think the Emmy needs to get down and dirty as much as they can about how much work goes into dismembering a body with the tools that Brian Walshe had. I think they need to get in depth about how close, how personal, how savage that dismemberment had to have been of his spouse, of the mother of his children. How disgusting. How much force had to be used. How he could have stopped at the arm. How, if he decided I'm gonna chop her up and then he cut off her hand, another person might get disgusted and be like, I can't do this anymore. Can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna go to jail. No, he took all the pieces of her, piece by piece by piece, with a hacksaw. And we still don't know where she is. I think the enemy needs to be very detailed in that, because without giving us Anna, they at least need to give them the brutality of it, because it is very brutal. The tools he had, ugh, brutal. To think that you could do that to your wife is beyond fucking me. Cody, I'm gonna get up out of here because my throat is starting to hurt and I'm getting congested and I need to take some more medicine. Taking all the drugs you can give me. I need them all. I hate being congested, especially trying to sleep this way, which makes your throat hurt because you gotta sleep with your mouth open a little bit. It's just a thing. And kids are just germy little rodents. Just bring all of their stuff. Only, quizzical girl, only cold-blooded murderer. Only a cold-blooded murderer and sociopath could do that with the tools that he used. It had to be so close. It had to take so long, 4 days. And then you had to clean up her blood and start your missing campaign. It's a mess. Thank you so much, Nurse of Interest. I'm going to get out of here for real. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the YouTube things. We will be back tomorrow to talk about what we learned today. I hope you have a good, happy Monday. Hope you're feeling better than me. And hopefully tomorrow I am back with the vengeance, because I'm about to take one of everything. Hope I don't overdose on NyQuil. Y'all have a good Monday. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.
Bye, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.